I'm Lance Yelvington for CyberCountry. If you've ever wondered how songwriters, performers, put together life experiences into one really good song, then you need to meet J. Michael Harter to find out a really interesting answer to that question. In this CyberCountry Minute, he's going to tell us how a musical family life, as well as life on the road, coupled with fishing trips, can lead to some fantastic music.
Well, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona originally. Actually, when people ask me that, I'd say grew up between Phoenix and Flagstaff, because Flagstaff's in northern Arizona, so we would get the heck out of Phoenix during the summers and get up to Flagstaff where it's cool, you know. That's 7,000 feet, so I'm sort of from both cities in Arizona. I got into country music. You know, I grew up listening to it my whole life. Dad and Grandpa and playing it, and they both play guitar. But I think what really got me hooked was a guy named Garth Brooks.
He'll do that.
Yeah. It was. I just loved. I loved Garth, and Garth. It was funny because Garth also really loved Chris Ledoux, and I grew up with Chris Ledoux music. My sister's into barrel racing and rodeo, so we had horses growing up. And Chris Ledoux was a big part of life, so it was. I was hooked as soon as I heard Chris Ledoux's name, and Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old by Garth. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, working with the family, the Harters, is right now going out and doing it on your own? Is this a fun challenge that, maybe a little scary, but...
I've done it on my own before, but I was really young. When I had my first record deal, I was really young as J. Michael Harter, and then I started working with my brother and sisters, the Harters, and that was so much fun and a lot easier being on the road when you've got your family there. Obviously, it is a little bit of a shock going out on my own. I just did my first radio tour run a couple of weeks ago, and just me in the truck. You know, it was a little odd. I was bored. Driving town to town.
Yeah.
But you also get a lot of time to think, and so I came up with some song ideas. Talked on the phone a lot, But yeah, I do miss that the companionship of having my brother and sister there. We were always goofing off, and it took the monotony out of the job a little bit.
Now, in doing the radio tour as well as the other tours that you're doing leading up to this EP, how much fun is it to get out there on stage and try to develop a rapport with a growing fan base? There's a lot. It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hit or miss. Some shows are packed and some shows are not, and you just got to get up there and do what you do for 3 people or 3,000. You just never know, and it is exciting when you can see the fans reacting, people in the audience singing along to your song that someone you don't know.
Yeah.
That's always a cool feeling, So I think that part of it's really cool, watching it grow organically, and every show getting more and more and more following.
Now, what's going to be the difference between playing stages out in the hinterland and coming back here and playing stages and venues here in Nashville?
The hinterland?
Well, the rest of America, the rest of the stuff that
playing here in Nashville.
Yeah.
The thing is, first of all, nobody pays you to play in Nashville unless you're really making it big. The thing about playing in Nashville that's always a little bit nerve-wracking is that it's your peers, other people in the music business, and sometimes you feel a little bit more judged than watched. These people a lot of people are, these are the best songwriters in the country, the best artists in the country, record executives, the people that know what they're doing, and it's humbling when you get up in front of those people here in Nashville and play. It's like, oh gosh, I wonder what they're thinking. What did I hit a bad note? Did they like my song? Is my song as good as their song that they wrote today? So that is one thing that is good about playing in Nashville. Definitely keeps you humble. I think everybody moves to Nashville sort of being a big fish in a small pond from somewhere else around the country. And you get here and you figure out this is a very large pond with a lot of very big fish.
We're gonna want to make that into a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you too. With Right On, you're talking about songwriters. A lot of the songs on there, you did almost all of those things co-write or write, except for maybe one.
There's only one song on the EP that I didn't write. My good friend Earl Bud Lee wrote it. It's called "Mama Look Out Yonder."
Mm-hmm.
And it was a song I couldn't ignore.
Yeah.
He played it for me. We were on a songwriting retreat up in Alaska, and in the evenings, during the day, we would write and fly fish. I know this sounds rough. During the days, we would write and fly fish. At the evenings, we would sit around and pick guitars and play songs, play whatever we wrote that day or old songs we'd written. And Bud played "Mama Look Out Yonder" coming down the road, and I freaked out. I made him play it every night that we were up there. We were there for 10 days. So, and I asked him if he'd let me cut it, and he said, yeah. He wrote it in 1982 by himself, and nobody has ever cut it. You know, he's written some really big songs.
Oh, yeah.
Garth Brooks, "Friends in Low Places." He wrote "Who Are You When I'm Not Looking" for George Strait. Oh, no, that's Blake Shelton. I got him crossed. George Strait was "One Night at a Time." He wrote that, too. It sucks when you have so many hits, you lose track. So.
Well, let me get back to the thing just momentarily, and we'll get back to your album. Fishing and songwriting, because I've never heard anybody go on a retreat and, combine fishing and songwriting.
It's the best, man.
Yeah.
It's the best way to, I'd never done that. I fish and write, obviously. But what's really cool about what we did, there were 5 of us from Nashville here: Bruce Wallace, Scott Laurent, my brother, Scott Harter, Earl Bud Lee, and myself. And there's no cell phones, there's no television, there's no telephones, regular phones, there's no internet for 10 days. So it's a great environment for songwriting. When all you have to think about that day is fishing, it clears your head out. It's like hitting the reset button on your life for 10 days. So we wrote some great stuff up there. We call ourselves the Fighting Chums, the 5 of us, because we were one of the fish that we were catching up there was chum salmon. So we're the Fighting Chums.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, now let's get back to the album. Now, how hard was it to select the songs to put on the EP? What was the process?
Oh, that actually takes the longest. Writing them's the easy part, but songs are like your kids. You can't like one more than the other. You like them all. So it's really, we went through a lot. We probably had 40 songs to start with that, and then we my brother and I get together. He's my producer, by the way. We get together and narrow them down. And we finally get them narrowed down to about, I think we had close to 10. And then it comes down to recording them. And then they take on a whole new life. Because when we first write them, it's just me and a guitar. And then you get in there and you get all these awesome musicians on them, and they come to life and they take on a whole new animal. Your least favorite song may become your most favorite song in one day because of what the musicians here in Nashville can do. So then that narrows it down even more. So we finally got to, originally we only were going to put 5 songs on the EP. So we picked 5, and then we decided to go in and do the remix on "Holy Cowgirl," which I love, and add the New Year's Eve song, "Another Trip."
Yeah, what was exactly the story behind "Holy Cowgirl"? Because I like the way that the whole thing comes out.
I had that title in my phone for a couple of years, and I mentioned it to a few different writers in Nashville, and it got shot down.
What were they thinking?
I don't know. I don't know if they didn't get it, or when we first started writing it in Alaska, the 5 of us were all sitting around drinking beer with our guitars, and we were gonna everyone's looking through their little list of titles to try to figure out what we're gonna write. And I said, I got one. I don't know, "Holy Cowgirl," and everyone was quiet. And my buddy Scott Laurent looked over and he said, "You mean like a really religious cowgirl?" Like, no, man, no. Like, you see this girl that just blows you away, and you're like, "The holy cowgirl," and she happens to be a cowgirl, which is even better. So, yeah. And then after that, Bruce Wallace came over, and he's unbelievable on the guitar, and started playing that riff, and the thing just fell out in like 30 minutes. Bud and my brother starts spitting out lines and couldn't write it down fast enough, you know. But that's a good memory, sitting on that porch up there in Alaska, covered in mosquitoes. I don't think I've ever used so much bug spray in my life, but you get used to it eventually.
Size of your head. I mean, these things are huge.
Oh, they're gigantic.
Yeah. And nobody ever, they don't believe you. Anyway.
Yeah. My dad always say that the mosquitoes so big they can stand flat-footed and crap in a dump truck.
Well, let me ask you, why should somebody go out and see a show of yours or buy the CP?
Because I'm broke, man. No.
Well, there's that.
I think check it out. I think people are gonna hear a lot of my influences in my music. I try to make music that I would like to listen to. Like I said, growing up, George Straits and Garth Brooks, Chris Ledoux, and even over on the pop side of things, I always had a lot of Beatles influence and the Eagles. But I think if you're a fan of that kind of music and like lyrically driven music with a little bit of Western sound to it, I think you'll like this one. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm J. Michael Harter. Check me out at jmichaelharter.com. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Go buy some stuff. Feed me. Thank you.